Hi, and welcome to HUR at Home Music and More Night. And our special guest this evening is Music and More, something new he's adding to his resume that I'll tell you about in a little bit. He's our dear friend, certainly a friend of the show, my wonderful friend. I just love him so much, and I know you do too, which is why you support his music for all these years. Over 30 years, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Grammy nominated, and there's so much we can say, so we're going to let him tell his own story. Please welcome the Prince of Sophisticated Soul. Oh, yeah, he's royalty. Will Downing.
I'm more like the court jester, the court jester of love. He's here.
Oh, love, baby. Oh, I like that.
No,
I think
let's
I
not
prefer the
no,
Prince of
not yet.
Sophisticated Soul. Let's stick with that one. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, my dear? I love your background there, which is not a green screen. That's your house. It's your house.
It's not my house. I mean, my house. I love my house. We're going to say this is my house right now. Let's just go with it.
It's your
It's a
house.
green screen. It's virtual. It's
Mm-hmm.
virtual. You know what? I love that you're here always. And I love that you're here for Mental Health Awareness Month. We can't talk enough about mental health, especially in our culture, in the Black community. Something that, people have been maybe ashamed of talking about and even acknowledging. So, just right out of the gate, I want to congratulate you on this beautiful song that you created in
No,
honor of
thank you.
your daughter. Really, I mean, it's just beautiful. And
Thank
so,
you.
backstory. When it comes to mental health, if we're being honest, there's always something that we can, maybe go and get some therapy about. I lost my mom recently.
Hmm.
Mother's Day
Very
was
sorry.
hard,
Yeah, very sorry.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we all need to talk to people. So when you talk about mental health, have there been times that maybe you felt like maybe you can talk to somebody, get some help?
Well, it's something that you just said. It's a slight contradiction. You started off and you said that mental health is something that we talk about. It's actually something we don't talk about
Well,
in the
that's what I
Black
said.
community. Oh,
Something
I'm very
we
sorry. Yeah,
need. Oh, it's
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
something we need to talk about.
Yeah. There's a few things on the planet that Black folks don't talk about, and mental health is one of them.
Yeah.
So, and I'd have to add my name to the list until we had this unfortunate thing happen in our family with my daughter, who had been suffering from bipolar uh, and depression and schizophrenia, little bits of schizophrenia,
Mm,
and from the lack of knowing what to do, a lot of times we did what everyone kind of says. Well, take a day off.
yeah.
Go get yourself a good meal, get some more sleep, you
Right.
know, and trying to mask the problem or put a band-aid on a bullet wound. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm,
And a lot of times in these cases, the help that people need far exceed what you and I could give, the help that we can give them. It requires professional help.
yeah. Yeah.
And though she did get it, it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? I guess the internal struggles that she was having, far exceeded what we could do as a family to help her, and even with the person that she would talk to, her counselor, um, maybe it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It's something that, and she was clinically diagnosed, for those who are listening, as being bipolar. So it's kind of like, it's not like, oh, she was depressed or, I mean, there was some sort of an imbalance.
Right.
And, they had given her medication and she hated taking it.
Mm,
It made her feel lethargic and sleepy. And she kind of did what a lot of us do as well. We sort of self-medicate,
right.
and her self-medication was drinking. So,
Mm,
not a good combination with the illness that she had.
right. And you said so many things that happen so much. I've got friends who suffer from depression, diagnosed, depression. But as a layperson, I mean, I'm no doctor, I'm no psychologist, no psychiatrist. I don't know how to help you.
Right.
And so, I say the same things that you were saying. I say, well, just take it easy, or just, take care of
Right.
yourself and love yourself or whatever. I don't, my recommendations have never been, maybe you need to see someone, maybe you need
Right.
to talk to someone. And maybe that's the kind of thing that we need to start adding to our vocabulary. There's no shame in saying to someone, you know what, I'm limited with my help for you. I appreciate you sharing your problems, but can I recommend that you call a professional?
Right, right. Well, that's something that we should do, and we've probably gotten better with it, but
Yeah.
it's a generational thing. I remember talking to my father about what was going on with my child, and the answers that he gave were worse than mine, and mine were bad. It was like take a day off,
Right,
go get
right.
yourself a good meal, get a couple hours of sleep. His was he's from the Carolinas, and he would say, you need to take him down home, let him run around in the fields and
Okay.
and get some
Get
good
some
collard greens.
exercise, some
Yeah, get
sun.
some collard greens. Let him breathe some good fresh air. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think that's the answer,
I don't think so.
but
Yeah, but you know what? Generational. You're right, though.
right, right. But and yeah, moving forward, my answer was probably no better, but in keeping with the times, like, yeah, none of us are getting enough sleep. You
Yeah.
go do something you really want to do. Why don't you go get some retail therapy? Go do some retail therapy. Go shopping. Here's some
It's
money.
my go-to.
And some people that it gives them a temporary relief, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really deal with the problem, the
No.
root of the problem. So
Yeah.
it is something where we are starting to level off, and people are starting to understand and get in touch more with their feelings, and to really seek professional help in every aspect of life.
Yeah. And Will, I got to tell you, I just want to congratulate you for stepping out and speaking about this. I mean, it's something very close to you, your daughter. And a lot of people have absolutely no idea when this happened. I mean, it sent shock waves, in across the country and the world. I mean, you're a world renowned artist and people love you and they know you. And when they heard that your daughter passed, everyone was like, oh my, what? What happened? And there was very little information out there about what happened. And so
Well,
was it hard for you to just come out and say, okay, this is what happened?
well, I mean, it happened so suddenly, obviously. But it happened in January,
Yeah.
and we're in May, so this happened just months ago.
Yeah.
And the my family processing the whole ordeal, that's within itself, took us time. Okay, how do we say it? Well, what
Yeah.
the hell really happened here? Like, how did we get from here to how do we go from there to this?
Right.
If you listen to the song, I have in the long version of the song, I have a recording of her that she left for me on New Year's Eve, and she just called and say, "Hey, Happy New Year's Eve," Happy New Year, whatever it is, and yeah, and she's joyous and happy and all of this, and 11 days later, she was dead. So how do we go from that to that?
Yeah.
So, for me, even processing that, even to this day, it's questions that, we won't have the answer to. We can all speculate. We all
Right.
kind of, well, she kind of, well, she was doing this, and
Right.
it's a lot of that. But the truth is, we'll never know.
Yeah.
So, until we meet again, which is the title of the song. So until we
It
meet
is a
again,
beautiful song. I mean,
thank you.
oh my gosh, it had to be just listening to it, we all get emotional because we know the story and you wrote
Right,
this for her. And until we meet again, I have to believe, yes, we're all going to meet again.
right,
We all
right.
have to go and we'll hopefully meet again on the other side. But
Amen.
to your point, when you listen to her, she sounded so happy. And like you
Yeah,
said, just wishing you New Year's Eve. Same situation with Twitch, Ellen DeGeneres,
right,
DJ dancer. And, there were videos of him posted the night before
right,
dancing and looking
right,
joyous. And you never really know. You
right,
never really know someone's
right,
story.
right. Yeah, I mean, we would sit. She would call me often. We talked, twice a week. She lived on the West Coast. I'm on the East, and we
Yeah.
would talk twice a week. And she would, tell me what was going on with her. And a lot of times, I mean, it was, interesting conversation. Things that I didn't necessarily agree with, but she just needed to be heard. And so we would sit there for hours and, we'd bat a conversation or topic back and forth. And then at the end of the conversation, I'd say, hey, so, you all right? You good? No. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
All right. Okay, let's keep going.
yeah,
And it was whatever it was internally that was troubling her, it was in her eyes and in her
yeah,
spirit far more than she could deal with.
yeah.
And I don't think that there was anything anyone could have said that was going to change her mind.
Right.
And this would happen on many subjects that, things that she was going through. She would
Mm,
always call somebody. So she talked to me, or she talked to a mother, or she talked to my mother or grandmother. And, we would have these long conversations. We would all call each other. Siobhan called me today. Yeah, we talked for an hour and a half. I said, well, she just wanted to talk,
yeah,
so we've kind of learned to listen.
yeah.
And, because like I said, some of the advice sometimes that we would give her sometimes would trigger something within her. And I don't want to, she would go from 0 to 60. She'd be happy.
Right.
Then you say something wrong, or in her eyes that was wrong. And it would turn into like this confrontational sort of thing. So it's
Right.
like, you're walking on eggshells. Like everything that you talk about, it's like, maybe I shouldn't say that. Okay, so let me just listen a little bit more.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I mean, and that's a lesson because we all want to reach in there and help,
Right,
but sometimes, like you said, the help is just being there. And
right.
thank God that you were there for her.
Yeah,
You can always, take comfort in that. And I'm sure that, there's not a whole lot that people can say to you to comfort you. And
right.
I just want you to know I'm your friend and I'm here. So whenever you want
Thank
to
you.
talk, you really just pick up the
Thank you.
phone. So
Thank you.
tell us about the song. I mean, you've written many, many, many songs. Thank you for that. Many songs that we have loved, mostly love songs that, you sing so beautifully. What was the process here? Did you just like sit down and it was all right there,
Oh
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
write it?
This one was easy. It was a conversation. Sorry, this is a conversation and something that we have gone through. She and I more times than I can count.
Mhm.
Where she would call me and say that she was about to do something that I wasn't necessarily in agreement with,
Right.
and we kind of go back and forth, and sometimes there was some, it's called parenting. You got to like be a
Right.
parent, and I can't be your best friend. I'm your parent, so I'm going to say what's on my mind, and I would say it, but I would do it with love. And then after we'd have this conversation, then we it was virtually hug it out, or we were together, we'd hug it out or whatever, and let her know that I love her. So
That's
that's the
beautiful.
same thing with this song. This song, the first line of it is, I wish you could tell me what the hell was on your mind. When I last talked to you, seemed like you were doing fine.
Mhm.
And obviously the emptiness and the loneliness she had. The next line says, "You were not alone because someone's always watching over you." Well, all right, till we meet again. So it's a I'm not gonna say a chastisement, but it's sort of like, well, let's talk about this. Is that really the smartest thing in the world to do? So,
Yeah.
what do you think? What the hell was on your mind?
Yeah.
So it's that. It's a parent, to a child, to your
Mhm.
child sort of a conversation. And,
Yeah.
we've all had it, or we've all had it with, maybe our parents,
Right.
something you might have done or said. And it's like, well, what are you thinking about? Like, what?
Exactly. No
Yeah. So,
question about it.
yeah,
And I've
exactly.
gotta think it's, cathartic for you just to get that out and to hear that
Right.
song and to have it as something that can heal other people that maybe they weren't able to, write a song about it or really express how they feel about it. Because once you lose someone like that, the way you lost your beautiful daughter, that's the last word. There's nothing else they could say.
Right, right, right.
And,
And you just don't know what other people are going through as well.
yeah,
And they don't have the platform that I may have,
right.
to kind of get the word out and spread it, internationally, nationally, whatever you want
Yeah,
to say. And that's the whole point of having a platform. If you don't
yeah,
use it for the better or to help someone,
yeah,
uh, what's the point? You can't just take,
exactly.
take. You got to give back, regardless of how tragic the situation is. In this case, it could help someone down the line.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about the process. I see you've got a lot of your people on there. You got Audrey singing background, your daughter
Hmm.
Asia singing
Yeah.
background. Tell us about the people. Even Najee.
Yeah,
What do you,
it's
Prince
called cheap labor. It's called cheap labor. You know,
All the people who love you are on there,
right?
except me. I didn't get that
Right.
call, but we'll
Well,
talk about that.
just some of us left us here on the East Coast, to deal with the cold weather. So you know,
That. No, but the process of the song. I mean, I just pulling it all together. That how was that
it very
experience?
very easy as well. It was a phone call to all of my friends and family
Yeah.
to participate, and everyone volunteered. Everyone knew her, or had met her. And some of the
Yeah.
musicians, like I'd done sessions where I would bring her along with me,
Nice.
and and so they got to know her. So it was an
Beautiful.
easy telephone call to everyone, and and some of them like, oh, your daughter, is that the one who was at the studio with us? Who and my daughter, she liked to rap, so she was like, yeah, is she the one that wanted to do 16 off the dome? Like we were doing something. She was like, hey, Dad, let me give you 16 off the dome.
Okay.
I'm like,
I love it.
what?
You're like, okay.
And then she rapped a little bit. I was like, oh, 16 off the dome. 16
I
matches off the dome. Like, great. Yeah.
You're cool. You're a cool dad. You knew what she meant.
Well, she said it at first because she was in the studio and we all, we're playing this song, we were grooving, and she was like, yeah, Dad, you want 16 off the dome? I was like, is that a drink of
Maybe.
some sort, or is that a 16 off the dome? 16 off the dome. And I was
I'm
like,
not
oh,
sure.
whoa. Oh, you want to rap? Like, no, not
That's
on this
perfect.
one.
I love it. So, okay. So I wish I could play the song now, but when we try playing the song on this
Yeah.
platform, as you know, YouTube and Facebook will bring us down every time and cut us off. So I want to encourage everyone, find the song, purchase the song. It is absolutely beautiful, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank
But
you.
you know
Thank you.
what?
Thank you.
I've got another thing to congratulate you, my friend, about.
Uh-oh. Oh, did I win a
Uh,
Grammy?
Not yet, but it's coming. You were nominated, so
I've
you'll
been
be
hearing that for
nominated again.
35 years. It's coming. It's coming.
It's
This
coming.
is
It's
it's
coming.
coming. It's coming. The great
Keep hope
pumpkin, the great pumpkin. He comes over the pumpkin patch and he gives all the kids. Like, I've been waiting, like Charlie Brown.
alive. I love it. But I saw this really cool new series. I don't want to butcher the name of it, but you're doing the voiceovers, you're doing the narration.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. It's so cool, especially I think just the first one just aired recently with
Hmm.
Eric Roberson. So tell us all about that new series.
Yeah, it's called Indie Soul Journeys,
Yeah.
and it is very reminiscent of like behind the music or like an unsung sort of a thing. But it is for independent artists.
I love it.
And they filmed, I believe that was not believe they definitely done Eric because that's the first one that was released, and they've done Mesa and Cy Smith and
Are they gonna
Yazara, and yeah, so
do
it's all these. Um, I think when they
it?
first started it, I don't know if I think they were still considering me like a not an independent artist. Like to me, Eric is like the perfect choice as the first artist to be released
Yeah.
because I've known Eric, I mean, uh, 30 years. And the first time I met him, he was the first person that I met that was an independent artist. And
Wow.
I thought that he was out of his freaking mind. I mean, and I tell this story, and I told it to him the other day when we did the premiering of the show in Chicago. I said it on stage to the audience. I said I was down actually in the DC area. We had done something for this is way back, Circuit City. I had done
Oh, I
a
remember Circuit City.
yeah, yeah, but it shows you, I mean, Circuit City's been gone for a minute, but shows you how far back we're going. But
Yeah.
I had done a signing at Circuit City, I think in Maryland somewhere. And after it was over, we all decided to go over to Gladys's Chicken and Waffles
Oh, yeah.
across from the mall
Out in
that
Maryland.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So we go in there and we're in there, we're chowing down, and I hear somebody singing in another room. And I'm
Oh,
like, who the hell is this? Like this guy can really sing. And we're still eating, and then he does another song, and I'm like, I said, guys, I gotta go find out who this is. So I get up
wow.
from the table and I go into this other room, and they have like this little private room, and it can't be There can't be 50 chairs in there. And
Okay.
he's in there singing. And I go afterwards, and I knew him, but I didn't know him. I said,
Okay.
Eric, man, you sound incredible. And then he's like, yeah, yeah, thanks. And he runs to the front door of the place in the room that he was singing in. And I'm like, what did he do that for? I go back there with him. I said, hey, man, you good? He was like, yeah, I want to catch the people as they're walking out because I want to sell them my product. And I said, man, is that the way you sell it? He's like, I dare them visually to walk by me after me performing and walk by me and not buy my product.
Oh,
And
I love that.
I said, wow, okay. So the people are coming up and he's signing and selling. He's taking, whatever the cost was, $15 or $10 or whatever.
Right.
I said, Eric, man, this is so small time. Like, why don't you sign with a label and get some major, major, major money behind you? He's like, I want to own my own stuff. I said,
Mm.
I hear you. I said, man, but you ain't gonna
Bigger.
earn. Yeah, I'm like, you ain't gonna earn what I'm earning by standing at the
Right.
door in front of 50 people taking $10 a piece,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. One
And
by
he just
one
said,
and signing.
yeah, and he's like, yeah, man, but ownership is key, man. This is mine. They can't tell me what to do. They can't tell me
That's
what
right.
they liked or what they didn't like, or what went wrong. And he said, it's my money, and this is the way I want to do it. And here we are, 30 years later, and now everybody's an independent artist.
Everybody. Yeah.
So
Wow.
he was way ahead of the game when it came to this independent thing. So
Yeah.
he was the first. He was probably their first choice, and in my opinion, the best person to premiere this show, Indie Soul Journeys.
That's perfect. Because I mean, there might have been other independent artists out there trying to figure it out, but he figured it out.
He figured it out. Yeah, he
He
cracked the
figured it out.
code. He cracked the code. So even when I started my own label and started doing it independently, he was like the first phone call that I made. I'm like,
That's good.
okay, what am I doing? Who am I
Yeah.
sending this to? Who
Yeah.
shouldn't I send this to? Who
Right.
can do this? Who should I avoid?
You're the
So
template.
he's the template. Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely cracked the code on this independent thing.
That's what I loved about watching your premiere show. So many things I didn't know about Eric Roberson. I thought I knew him. I mean,
Right,
and
right,
I mean, just his what could have been a failure for many people, he turned it around and made it a win for him.
yeah,
And
yeah,
right, used it
yeah,
all as teachable moments for himself. He's like, never again
right,
will I depend on you for my success,
yeah.
and came back stronger. Even, I mean, I don't want to give everything away, so I don't want people to, even his physical situation. But you know what? The polymyositis, is that
Uh-huh.
what you said?
Mhm.
That, I think about you and your struggle with that. And, when that first happened to you, that could have crushed an artist. They could have said, listen, I'm just gonna, be happy that I made it through it and not
Right,
sing again. I'm just gonna chill, whatever.
right.
But you got over that, came back stronger, and even during it, Will, I was just standing up and applauding the fact that you
Thank
were
you.
singing, even in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You were still doing the doggone thing, and then came back even stronger than you were before your illness.
Well, thank
And,
you.
that I just, I've always just been in such awe about
Oh,
that. And
thank
I
you.
feel, the same way with Eric and, the illness that he had that is revealed in the show that I'm not going to
Right,
tell. You have to watch it to see what
right.
I'm talking about.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, we all go through things that the public at large don't know about,
Yeah,
and especially these days, you can't tell anybody anything that
right.
is wrong with you, or they kind of like asked you, like, well, so and
Had a
so,
good
their career is
run.
over with. Yeah,
Yeah,
his voice is gone. He broke his
right,
leg. He can't move. He can't this. He can't. So it's like you keep these things to yourself, or you try to in fear of that,
right.
someone's gonna, not support you in any way, shape, or form. So,
Yeah,
even with his thing, I didn't know about it
I had
until
no
they sent
idea.
me the voiceover and I'm recording it. I'm going, oh, wow, I didn't know. And I ended up
Yeah,
calling him. I said, hey, man, so I said, man, you never said anything. He was like, man, I couldn't. He said, in fear of some promoters never calling me again, or if a
right.
radio station gets out and, these days, if you say anything, the public at large, they just run with it. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's so
like,
true.
yeah, I mean, AKA, the Jamie Foxx. Like, you know,
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
perfect example.
it's all speculative, and as crazy as it sounds, and to people, it's best that like the less you know, the better,
The
you
better.
know,
But it's
because
horrible the way people fill in the blanks. People
oh
have no
yeah,
idea what's going on, and they wanna be the expert
right,
and post about it.
right,
It's I just figure I'll just keep him in my prayers. Whatever's going on,
absolutely,
he's just in my prayers.
yep,
Healing, just until he's 100%, I'll be praying for Jamie Foxx.
amen, vice
You
versa.
know? So, Will, thank you so much. Congratulations on everything. I mean, now you're doing what I do now. You're a voiceover person.
Well, I'm not as good looking. I don't
Oh,
sound as good.
yeah, you are. Yeah, you do. I was going when I mean, from your first word, I was like, "That's Will." I mean, you nailed it. You
Well,
nailed it.
thank
It
you.
was so good.
I had
And
good
are you
teachers.
doing the whole series? I hope so.
Me too. I hope so. I hope they call me back to do the other
Yeah.
artists. This one seems to be off to a great start.
Yeah.
These two brothers out of Chicago kind of self-financed this, so this is all out of pocket for them. So they could use as much support as they can.
Good.
So definitely check out indiesouljourneys.com, I guess, or whatever. It's Indie Soul Journeys. Punch that up, and it'll view it, leave some great comments. I don't
Yeah.
know how they, turn that into something where it can financially benefit them so that they can finish doing the future ones. But like I said, I think they've done like the footage for like a Mesa, and I think Avery Sunshine is in that list as
Oh,
well.
good. Good.
And I guess depending on how well this Eric one does, they'll move forward and do the next one, or maybe somebody will pick it up, or
I
I'm always
spread the
very
word.
supportive of folks doing
Yeah.
their thing independently, and I'm always supportive in that regard. So I lent my voice to it, and hopefully it'll turn into something that
That's
is
beautiful.
lucrative for everybody.
I hope so too. Yeah. Get those sponsorships going, spread the word. I'll be posting it. I'll post it as well and help to get the word out there.
Thank you, thank
Well,
you,
thank you for spending this time with us today. WHUR loves, loves, loves you. I love
thank
you.
you,
And
thank
we
you.
just really appreciate you. Congrats on the song. Keep doing what you do. And before we let you go, I mean, if you want to shout out your social and then whatever inspiring words you want to leave us with, or if you want to sing us out, whatever you want to do.
Before I let you go, oh, I could never, 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 before. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, it was in my head. Will Downing 3 on Instagram, Will Downing Singer on Facebook, willdowning.com. You want to find out where I'm going, if I'm coming to a town near you, and if you'd like to support me in my music and buy a t-shirt, a hat, or whatever we got, come to theprinceofsophisticatedsoul.com. Theprinceofsophisticatedsoul.com. Boom.
Boom.
Thank you.
Nailed it. Thank you so much.
Before I let you
We're going to
go.
let him sing us out. Take you off for watching
Oh,
us. Keep it real.
oh, I
All
can
right. I think we're both just going to fade out.
never, never, never before I go.
For watching HUR at home, and thanks for keeping us your number one music station, 96.3 WHUR. I'm Angela Stribling. I'll see you on Pillow Talk with Angela. Bye.